What's good, nieces and nephews? Big Unc Chaos here to give you all my thoughts and opinions on Soulframe, the newest game under development from the directors and creators of Warframe. If you like this type of content or learning about different RPGs, dungeon divers, and co-ops, you've come to the right place. So let me know in the comment section the type of games y'all are interested in, and Unc will be happy to showcase them. Now, let's get right into Warframe and what makes it so spectacular. Now, in the big 2026, I believe most games should have a co-op or a multiplayer option, and I like that this game does have that. Me and my good friend were able to pick it up because we played RuneScape earlier on when we were younger, and seeing the updated graphics and mechanics just make it so nice. I mean, look at it visually. You got one of us who's a mage user versus one of us, me, who's the sword user. I'm over here breaking walls, breaking barriers. I also appreciate the fact that you get a very streamlined approach to your moves early on in the game, just to make sure people don't get lost. Adding on to that, the fact that these elements in the game, the shaders, the animation, are beautiful. I mean, look at us, we're walking down the enemy right now, or farming. We're about to face Homegirl, and we're not afraid of her or her little horse. I do think that the game has some questionable moments when it comes to its sequencing and voice acting, but the fact that you get actual VAs in RuneScape, that's something that a lot of people hadn't anticipated. Now, the game is in its early alpha state right now, but you're actually able to get access to the game if you have an access code. I will be giving away one access code for this video. If you leave a comment in the comment section saying no Diddy, I will take all the people from the video who commented, again, no Diddy, and yes, Mr. Combs, if you would comment no Diddy, I will put a raffle in for a chance for you to be able to get the access code. I believe it's available only on Steam right now for the alpha because you have to access it through their website. Now, enough of the information on how to access it. Let's talk a little bit more about the functionality of the game itself and some of the elements you can appreciate or expect to see within it. Now, to say that the combat in this game is wonderful and engaging would be an understatement. I didn't even realize for the first part of this fight when we were battling him, one of their teammates was actually healing them, one of the AI's teammates, and they're not just goofy. This game relies on different mechanics such as parrying, blocking, dodging, rolling, evading, and of course teamwork. But that also applies to the enemies. You got one person here who I'm fighting right now. They're actually healing the whole team this entire time. So as I try to get on his ass, they try to get on mine. Pause. That said, I did appreciate the fact that you were able to essentially swap your weapon style, because a lot of the games we play nowadays typically force you within a box. Don't get me wrong, the game does have a class system. You choose between a warrior, a mage, and a ranger essentially. However, the difference there being each of them have their own weapons. Each of them have different weapon classifications they can use. Right now I'm using a longsword and it allows me to throw this thing over here. You know, I'm over here whipping it out, swinging it back. I have a sidearm I can use as well for a little bit more quicker jabs. You know, so you're able to implement different moves, different setups based on your fighting style and preferences. This also helps a lot with team compositions and working together here. So I do think that they probably could have expanded a little bit more upon the roles, but as this being an alpha, I do think what you get is going to be nice. Me and my friend have been playing nonstop and we have not even come close to maxing out either our gear or our equipment. In fact, after we beat him up here, I don't want to spoil everything that happens, but you unlock weapons from fighting bosses, enemies, raid areas. That area we were fighting before was a raid dungeon. So this is just one of those games where you always have action to do something. Think of traditional RuneScape. Sorry, not traditional RuneScape. Think of Soulframes as a Warframe element game where you're able to essentially guide your own path and pace, but the story will always bring you back. One of the cool moves as well that different classes have, this weird Kakashi Itachi form of crows that my teammate unleashed on the enemy, they didn't stop. So there are some glitches and bugs in the game. Obviously in the alpha that happens. I got stuck one time too. Again, no Diddy. And you could probably see me calling my sword there in the video with my hand motion. But I do think that overall the game has so much potential, so much quality, so much value that you'd be silly not to get it, or at least consider grab. I think that the story mode, the voice acting and everything definitely makes the price point of $30 US, again, not a sponsored video, $30 US for access to the playtest makes it fun. I mean, there's so many different elements. As I was fighting this boss, I unlocked a new move that I was able to use mid-game. It allowed me to throw my sword with perfect timing. By doing that, I'm able to hit the enemy with more damage, incremental things like that. My buddy and his crows were able to stun lock her from being able to attack us consistently, so we were able to press her earlier on, beat her out before she got the horse. It's almost a choose your own adventure, except, you know, you're fighting against, in this case, mysticism, aliens. Yeah, it's like an RPG, but instead of fighting other RPGers, you're fighting sciencey tech lords and wizards. As you go across the map, you're going to see these giant mechanical spires. They're spaceships. You're going to have access to fighting raids and taking out different outposts. So if you're used to the dungeon crawler-esque games and you enjoy that style, definitely something you're going to appreciate. When I'm parrying him here, I'm practicing, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but I'm actually able to stun him and deflect him. So there is some actual real-time combat. It's not just a hack and slash. We started off a little bit easier only because we wanted to make sure we could play the game. It wasn't going to be crazy. Warframe was an interesting start for me, especially when all my buddies signed up early. So I didn't have the chance to actually level up with them. But here, this is giving all of us the chance to start off with everyone else, you know, from the beginning. You hear about a lot of these legacy games that keep going and have so many players, and you get anxious about starting, joining in, wondering if you'll be able to keep up with everyone. Well, get in early now, because I think that this game in its early access is definitely going to be something to keep you entertained for a few $100 while you're waiting on the full release. I also appreciate the fact that you can teleport. There's a central hub where you can go to access all of your things, such as leveling up, changing your gear. You don't have to worry about doing all that in different locations, and you have access to it wherever you want. That works really well. Additionally, character moves and weapons actually impact each other. So my teammate, he's going to see that I'm in a little bit of trouble here in a second. He'll drop a orb on the ground. That orb will give me extra healing. You know, as I'm obviously, there it is to the left of us, I'm obviously the frontliner here. So I like being able to basically put people into categories and everyone do their job. Ideally, you'll play with 3, maybe 4 people. I think there are 3 classes right now, so that might be the total cap. But, you know, I don't anticipate needing it that much unless the difficulty increases substantially. Now, we obviously have to talk about the potential for a multiplayer mode in the future, PvP and whatnot, and I'm not super familiar with those. Again, I played this game yesterday, and it spoke to my soul so much that I had to make a video on it. But I do think the PvP element of it might not work the best, only because of the fact that, I mean, it does seem like, I don't know, reaction times can vary. Some of the moves are just blatantly way stronger than others and have weird interactions as far as crowd control, CC, and damage reduction. So they probably need to fine tune it a little bit before it could keep going. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk a little bit, because everyone says I never offer any feedback or critique. Just talking a bit about some of the things I don't enjoy about the game or areas of improvement. So for starters, make the characters run a little faster. I don't care what anyone says. You got this little tracking element that keeps you on the story mode objective most of the game, makes it easy to know where you gotta go. But it would be very nice if you could do it a little faster. I'm sure as the game releases, there'll be mounts and potentially, you know, and other ways of movement. Who knows? But I do think that they could make the characters have a little bit more speed overall, just so they can get from point A to point B. I definitely think we're going to need more classes than just one. More than 3. I think that's not going to be enough to satiate everyone. But other than that, I don't have too many complaints. I think the game's early on, and I look forward to playing it more as I, you know, learn more that I like and I don't. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you're interested in Warframe or that code, be sure to drop the chaos code word of the day that I said earlier in the video. Thanks so much for watching, and check out the rest of my videos for more content.